I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's 10 o'clock now. If you will stand, we'll have our opening prayer by Pastor Pamela Wiebe from the Christian Gathering Church in Valley View.
Good morning. Our gracious Heavenly Father, what an honor and privilege it is to have a God to call on today. Lord, we just want to first praise you and thank you for who you are. And today we ask your blessings upon this meeting. Lord, those that are participating today as we make important decisions for this community. And Lord, we just ask for your wisdom today, Lord, and not just wisdom for this, but just as Solomon said, Lord, I need wisdom to lead your people. And these are your people in this precious community. So Lord, we ask for protection of this community. We ask for prosperity in this community, Lord, as we just give you the honor and the praise. Bless our commissioners today, their families. Keep them safe, Lord. Keep our community safe, Lord, our families. And these things we just pray in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. You're welcome to stay for the meeting if you'd like to. Okay. And now we'll have our pledges, and Commissioner Snuggs, if you would lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, once again, thank everybody for being here today. I hope this is an enlightening meeting here. I hope everybody enjoys watching their government in action. And normally we would have public comments, but nobody signed up. I do have a public comment, however. One of the goals that I set for myself when I came back to this job was to make sure that our county offices work together. I've always been of the opinion that you can't have a functioning government if your offices don't work together. And so this agenda, this meeting today, is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Due to circumstances beyond our control, the agenda was in jeopardy of even getting done this time. And I would like for you to know that the county as a whole came together. We had a couple of commissioners offer up their secretary. We had IT pitched in. We had various different offices that pitched in and just made sure that we had an agenda, that it got published, that it was correct, and that we were able to have court today. And I know that she does not want me to say this, but 90% of all of this is due to our county clerk, Pam Harrison. Thank you very much, Pam. She came over and just took over and just did it. There's no asking her to do it or anything like that. She just did it. And once again, thank you, Pam.
Done a good job, got them to us on Thursday evening. That's the first time in
Absolutely.
ever I can remember getting them on Thursday instead of Friday, and I much appreciate it. Thank you.
And she did my Lake Roberts P&Z for tomorrow night too. So
Are you
thank very
kidding me?
much. Yeah. I had it all ready to go. She timed it up and got it posted.
Listen, I've already offered her a job, but she claims she already has one. So,
She went above and beyond as an elected official to step out of her office and,
Yes,
and
she did.
assist.
Yes, she did. Are you thoroughly embarrassed now, Pam?
Yes.
Well, you deserve to be. Okay. Okay, but that's, as I mentioned, that's just an example of your county working together, and it's a wonderful thing when that happens. Things get done, and things get done correctly and proficiently. With that in mind, item number 6 is the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes non-controversial and routine items that the court may act on with one single vote. The judge or a commissioner may pull any item from the consent agenda in order that the court discuss and act upon it individually as part of the regular agenda. Deliberate and consider possible approval of minutes of previous meeting, 5/22/23, and so forth and so on. So if you would take a look at the consent agenda, and what do you think?
I'd just like to make a statement about letter Q for everybody, so y'all are in the know. This is ratifying the judge's signature on an icon agreement for consulting services for the Mitchell Tract preliminary plat precinct 2. This is the second largest subdivision in Cooke County history, right behind Kiowa. It's almost 1,000 homes and 10 industrial buildings. So very large subdivision coming into my precinct. Pretty wild.
And where is that going to be, did you say?
It's west of 35 and County Road 200 circles it in West Lone Oak.
Okay,
It's out by the mud, Big Sky mud.
okay,
it's
so,
been-
Is it northwest of FRF?
It's due south of FRF, right across the road. Yeah. So that's gonna make 1,560 homes out there. And I've got people to the north calling about developing more land to the north, so I'm been talking to all the landowners. I'm gonna have to widen the road to 24 foot all the way back through there.
and I'd like to comment too, this is business that's just escaping our county to the south here, that's coming into Cooke County, that, job well done, Commissioner Snuggs. Anybody else have any comments on our consent agenda? If not, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Commissioner Snuggs makes the motion that we approve. There is a second.
Second.
Second. Commissioner Arndt, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none. The consent agenda passes 5-0. Item number 7 is deliberate and consider the approval of the treasurer's monthly report for April of 2023. Do we have the,
She's on vacation, I think.
No, she's here.
she's back?
I make a motion we approve the treasurer's report.
All right, motion, once again, Commissioner Snuggs. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Sicking, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Item number 7 is passed 5-0. Give me a second. Brings us to item number 8, consider and possibly approve the professional services agreement with Trot Communications Group Incorporated for an amount not to exceed $9,900 and budget amendment for same. Who wants to speak to this one?
I can. This is what we voted on last meeting to enter the agreement, and we voted to do that, and this is to ratify that agreement.
Okay,
This is actually the first opportunity to review this agreement, right? In other words, it was put on court for review and approval,
That would be correct.
so,
did you,
I get yes.
yeah.
I mean,
All right.
but we approved them to start, I think, didn't we?
No, I think that's pending this, isn't it, Adam? I noticed this. Do we know what phase 2 is going to be?
Right. Sir. Is there a phase 2 to this? Not that I know of.
They're showing on this phase 1. This makes me wonder if there's a phase 2 coming.
if there is, it'll have to be announced at a later date.
separate agreement for work. I
think they took the first agreement that we used 4 or 5 years ago, and basically modified it and maybe left over language, but
Is this coverage analysis going to be any different than what Motorola's going to give us?
yes. Yes, they've already and assessed the coverage of the paging system, so completely different projects to start with, but Trop will use hopefully some of the data that Motorola has to help the process with them. So
You know, last court, we were talking about our current pagers, our UHF stuff, and they said that they would only work on one channel.
That's correct.
Okay.
There are 5-channel pagers of that type of pager. They make one that's a 5-channel and a single channel. We have the single channel models.
Is it true that UHF is better to penetrate buildings than VHF?
They addressed that last time, I think, but it depends on the coverage, the building, the power. VHF has more carry. UHF may have more penetration, but that's if you have the exact same antenna at the exact same spot with the exact same power and the building. So that's out there, but I'm not sure how objectively true that is. I'm not an engineer, so.
Currently, we've got an east side and a west side.
Yes, sir.
That's, would appear to be a two-channel operation.
Same frequency.
Same.
That's right.
They
So,
just have it.
so that is the same frequency, and how it's different by the use of PL codes, as I understand it.
Generally, yes.
Okay.
My understanding.
So if we wanted to add additional tower space or repeaters, why couldn't we add to that frequency 3 or 4 different PL codes if we needed to, and continue on with our UHF pager system?
I think one thing we are challenged with now is the coverage on the east side. It's not great at all for North Shore. So the very southeast part of the county is not covered well at all with the UHF paging that we have.
I don't disagree with you at all. Where I'm headed with this conversation is if we can simply add repeaters on the UHF side. If we go digital, you're going to have to go add repeaters to all 4 sides.
No, we use what the digital VHF frequencies we already have. We tone over the emergency management channel.
So, but then we're still looking at $200,000 or $300,000 in new pagers.
I think they're $700 each. So
And we talked about, what, 300?
I think it was about 200.
Probably 220.
Last week, or a couple courts ago, or last court, I thought we talked about 300 pagers.
Well,
At $600, $180,000, roughly $200,000. Where I'm headed with this is I hope that we take a broad view of this and not head it toward digital and spend a bunch of money we don't have to do. I hope that they understand the capacity of our UHF pagers. And if we it appears they're working fine on the west side.
I'm sorry?
The pagers appear to be working fine on the west side. I don't know of any
Yes,
issues we're
generally
having.
they do, yes.
Okay,
But
so,
Station 1 EMS isn't getting pages off of either side very well, so it's right in the middle.
but if we end up, I would hope our solution is a single repeater strategically located, and the continued use of our UHF pagers would be my ultimate goal. I don't know where this is headed, and when it says phase 1, I don't know. I'm still not sure what we're getting for our $9,900 in the end. But anyway, I hope we're not focused on we're going digital and we're going to go buy a bunch of new digital pagers when there may be a less or more cost-effective solution out there.
I think there are several challenges and several solutions, and I think they need to hire someone that's much more qualified than any of us to assess those solutions and capabilities is why I would recommend we do this. The paging as we have it on a single tower where it was back in 2012 with the narrow banding, reduce that
power considerably. And so that was the need to bring up an east side repeater. That got taken away, that site, so now we're trying to make do with what we can in a very short amount of time. I don't know of a single location that we could move it to that would cover the entire county to include Ralston and North Shore and those very outlying areas with the power that's available and the technology that's available right now.
Yeah, I'm suggesting keep the sites we have and find a strategic location in the southeast part of the county and stay with our UHF system. I mean, and this coverage map we're talking about, last time, we did this, we paid for a coverage only to find out we could get the coverage map done for free.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
For free, I've not heard that. I mean, we have had it provided at one time, well, quite a while ago that I know of, where a provider gave us one to help us out in an instance, but that's part of the study, and the solutions are to determine all these different options and make the best decision.
Where's the other one at? Is it on the Pentex Tower?
Yes, sir. And that one we've had the repeater checked, and it appears to be performing at its proper capability.
Who's got the tower inside the Brazos substation on 678, do you know? They've got
Where at? I'm sorry, I don't know.
it's in close proximity to where we just lost our tower. Brazos has a substation out there, and they've got a pretty good tower right there sitting on 678.
Just before 219, is that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's right in there. I think
That's the one I think you're talking about. I don't know any more about it than that. But
Yeah, see, that's the kind of stuff I would like to see us research on our own.
But what happens, Gary, is you spend $10,000 to put an antenna up, and then also, well, that didn't work. And then you're gonna move it to another place. My thought is to get somebody that knows what's with their machines to tell us where we need to be. And it could be on our existing towers.
And I suspect what's going to become of this is they're going to tell us we need a tower and it needs to be in a strategic location, and I paid $9,900 for something I already know. But
I don't know that.
and it didn't cost us $10,000 to put up what we've got at Oak Ridge now, which is basically a trial.
And if we
Cost something.
and if we do put up a third site, then that would make a third decision point for dispatchers to have to determine, instead of one button, one page, which is the ideal solution, but that is another piece of it also.
But we don't want it where when there's paging out of west side, the people on the east side have to listen to that page, do we?
They can.
But do we want to? Do we need to?
Yeah, I think so, because I know EMS monitors all of them.
Sure they do.
To hear what's going on and who's doing what and where for situational awareness.
So right now, if it's not the page, they have to pick east or west?
The dispatcher, it is programmed in the console that they have to pick east or west. I mean,
So
they
it's
have,
just by luck if they're paging off the east side and then all the west side departments here, that's just, depending on how.
it's a monitor situation, right?
Which is the way it's been for years.
Yeah, right.
Hadn't been an issue.
So,
They can change their they can turn it on their pager to monitor or adjust their.
well, yeah, I understand how that works. I just didn't know. I thought it just went out.
It's the ability to get into the repeater, and I assume they can add a third one like that. I don't know that for a fact, but where if you set one for southeast and put it on a tower down there somewhere, then you would program the console, and the dispatcher would make sure they choose that southeast repeater for that department in that instance.
And that's who you need going.
Well, the challenge could be that, and it is often the case with EMS and the fire, that depending on what station's available may dictate another change of tower based on what the station's available.
And they would have to switch then also. Same scenario.
Right. But if the VHF digital simulcast is as a solution, would require no choice but to page or not page.
Oh, I don't doubt this Dream's the digital's gonna be the greatest thing in the world for $210,000.
Well, and I don't have an answer, but if we were to have to lease a tower in the southeast part of the county, could be another incurred expense.
But we don't know. I mean, I don't know that we've exhausted
there-
all of our efforts to find a tower. But anyway, I mean, the one in Nebraska is sitting out there, don't any of us know anything about it, how available it is, whether it's available or not.
So we spent all the money on the 7,800. We put up the towers for our own core, our own system. And why wouldn't we look at piggybacking off a system that we own instead of going to somebody else's tower? And that's my only deal. Why do we want to prepare or perpetually pay someone when we already have the equipment set in? Even though it cost us a little bit to get there, it's not going to be what the tower rates are over the next, I don't know, I won't be here in 30 years. So, and there'll be something new coming 30. It might be on your cell phone by then, I don't know.
And if we were going to do that on our existing equipment, but our problem is we don't have a tower in the southeast part of the county. That's part of the problem.
That's part of this deal right here, is they're going to tell us how your existing towers are working in that area. That's what that map's going to tell us.
And we've had
They're
North
working
Shore,
on digital. They may be working on digital.
and we've had North Shore already use their handheld radio, the portable radio, which is programmed to digital fire, which would be the same as digital emergency management. Take that radio in their station and in their homes down there, and they've been able to hear it pretty good, so. I mean, it's not
But-
objective, but it's
So
an answer.
how are they toning them out?
I'm sorry?
Are they toning them out using the radios?
No, but a digital VHF pager would be similar to the handheld portable radio, just a little bit shorter antenna. So
I
just
get
that
it, but is it a $210,000 need or whatever that number is versus a want? You know,
If they're not getting the tones, it's a need.
I don't
I mean, when
disagree.
Station 1's not getting the tones, it's a need.
If we were truly just concerned about EMS, you can page EMS with the 700 system, and we don't need to do anything to EMS.
We'd have to buy new pagers.
They'll page over the radio, I believe, right?
Let me cut in here real quick. If I'm not mistaken, 3 weeks ago, we were right at this point right here. We were considering hiring Trot to tell us what to do. And it sounds to me like that's what we're doing again right now. Do we need to bring this back in 2 weeks or?
No, I'm gonna be done, Judge. I
Okay.
just, the thing is, before you approve a contract, you need to understand what's in it and
That's
what you're
right.
getting from it. And then the other thing is, again, if this is phase one, been here, done this before. Okay, we're gonna tell you what to put out there. Now in phase two, we're gonna design it for you. And in phase three, we're gonna help implement it, or we're gonna supervise it. And the next thing you know, we've spent a whole bunch of money and we hadn't bought hardware yet.
Okay, and that's exactly to my point. I don't think we know the answer to any of those questions. And that's why I say, do we need to bring this back in 2 weeks at the next court, or do we need to act on it now?
When he was here and explained it to us, didn't he tell us, I mean, they would tell us what sites we needed? Is that not what they said the first time we was here? I think you were out then, Gary, but am
No,
I
was
remember
here,
that
man.
right?
No, I was
Jason and
here.
Adam?
Yes.
I mean,
And I get they will tell us, and they're gonna tell us you need to go put a tower in X location. Are we ready to build a tower? This thing
what
just
I
must.
understood, they were gonna check all the towers around and see what we needed, what would work for us.
But
I mean,
Instead of just putting stuff up, saying, well, that didn't work, take it back down, go to the next one, try it again, and come back down.
I specifically asked them if they would go identify the tower for us or make arrangements. They're gonna go out and contact these tower people, and they said no. They'll tell us what location's best, but it's up to us then to go make a deal for a lease or build a new tower or whatever.
So, the Station 1 not getting the pages, that's news to me, so
That's been going on.
what about when it was on the original tower?
The original tower out here,
Yeah, the one that got decommissioned. Was that ever an issue then?
I don't think there was an issue then, but we were way up. I mean, we were,
Yeah, but I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Because I'm, you know.
And I know we have heard too that they've had problems getting even pages off the west tower inside that block building from that distance, which
Well, that
can be a
could
challenge.
The building makes sense on that.
And it could be that, as I said, the repeater has been checked and it appears to be performing to spec, but is the antenna or the line somehow been compromised to even a small extent, which could reduce that coverage? And so that's just another piece of what do we do next?
Right.
And so,
I mean, I understand why we're here too. It's just a matter of making a decision. Because I get what Gary's saying is, when we do a little more legwork, we might be able to figure it out on our own, or we might not. It's a gamble either way. So,
Well, how are we gonna figure it out on our own,
Well,
other than putting something up and trying it? I mean, that's,
yeah.
is that right? I mean, is there,
Do you think?
can we do it other than putting them?
I think that's the only way.
Do you
I think we can get the coverage study done for free is what I think.
That's what he had mentioned. Maybe Motorola would help with that, since it's Motorola paging. So I don't know.
I mean, assuming we're gonna have to go buy, may have to go buy repeaters regardless, and there's gonna be licensing involved, regardless of how we do this. Is that not true, Ray?
no, sir.
Not gonna have to get any licenses?
No, if we
for the
were to
pager
use-
system?
If we were to use our current VHF digital simulcast system, it's up and licensed to use.
Under what frequency? Are you talking about off of our radio frequency?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I would suggest we would page off of the VHF simulcast emergency management frequency.
Because my original question, however long, God, it seems like we haven't had court in so long because of the fifth Monday, but my question was, can't we just add another repeater? And that's when it came up with the can't because of the different deal. But if we can, it seems like just a tower down in Valley View, east of Valley View, solves it. But then, like you said, you got 3 places. But if they're hitting North Shore, that would hit Valley View too.
On the VHF digital, they are.
Well, I'm saying if they needed, if we ended up with 3 decisions for them to make, if they're paging North Shore, it'd be about the only time they would need to hit that other tower if we put just another repeater down there.
He's staying with the UHF system,
Gotcha.
adding one
And I-
UHF repeater.
And I totally agree. I understand that digital will be so much better in so many ways, but if y'all have looked at any of the budget asks, we have got 3 dozen $200,000 asks coming, so we only got so much money, so I'm just trying to.
I don't think anybody's talking about going digital, are we? I mean, we're just
I don't
trying to get the
have-
pager to work.
I don't have the technical competence to tell you what is the best solution. That's
But the
further than
solution
my-
2 weeks ago was to go digital and buy pagers. You gotta buy
I think it was
pagers.
get Trot to tell us what we need to do, what we need to do.
Oh, yeah, okay,
That was what
That
what it
was-
was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, but, and yeah, that is.
That is
right.
one solution, I believe.
But if there is other options that don't cost $10,000.
That's what they're charged to bring back. That's the purpose of this, is to bring us the options with prices based on what we have and where we want to do, which is cover those areas to the best we can.
What will the UHF cover? What will the digital cover if we went that way?
I understand what their studies are gonna do. I didn't know if there was a little more legwork that we could do on our own. I haven't had time to do legwork. I'm buried in subdivision, so
We identified what
I
appears
haven't
to be
been
the
able to-
best east centrally located tower. It's a commercial tower, and that was the quote we received from them, which was, I believe, $1,500 a month, which does not include a generator or a shelter. 5% increase every year.
14-year contract,
15
wasn't
years.
it? Doesn't make any sense at all.
I think,
Don't disagree.
well,
But
Will.
like I said, I've been out just driving around, there's lots of towers out there. I mean, there's some on private property sitting at a 900-foot elevation, and the towers are shorter. But where were we at our last one? We sitting at about 900-foot elevation. How high? Am I right, 900 foot out there?
On
where we
which
was?
tower?
By the state school.
I think it was around 840, 850, but it was a 400-foot tower.
Where were we on that 400-foot tower, do you know?
Top.
So we're sitting at 1,200 foot.
Approximately 1250, probably, yeah.
1233.
1233, okay. So that gives us some idea. but some of it may not have to be that high if it's strategically located. I mean, there's one in Woodbine sitting at 830 or 840, and the tower is not but about 100 foot tall, but it's sitting at the intersection of like 678 and
3164, that's what me and you had talked about on a friend of mine's land, which I still don't know if they would let us on that one or not.
Well, and there's one, a small tower, looks like the guy's huge into radio, CBs and all this tower sitting probably within 100 yards of the tower we just came off of
Right.
out there.
Yep, that's a 100-foot tower, so you lost 300 feet.
Yeah. So, but I don't know that we needed the 1,200 sitting on the ridge. We
Okay.
didn't have issues.
Once again,
That's my point, though, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not the expert.
3 weeks ago, we sort of started this discussion right here. And we said we'd bring it back and vote on whether or not to let Trot tell us what to do. We've had 3 weeks to figure out what the questions that are. Does anybody think that if we had 2 more weeks, it would make any more difference? Would we figure anything out in the next 2 weeks?
Did we not vote to go with them last time?
Do what?
Last meeting, I thought we voted to go ahead and go with them. I mean,
You wouldn't want to do that, Matt, without seeing the contract. See, now you have the contract. The other thing in the contract is they want copies of all of our licenses and stuff. I don't
They're
know.
available on the FCC website.
So we don't have to provide clerical help to
They've
get all
already
the
got all that.
information they're asking for. Yeah.
They just, I think probably wanted to make sure they had them all, but yeah, they've got everything we know about.
But the whole thing, you want to see your contract, Matt, before you approve it. So you've got your contract, so you can vote.
All right,
So
guys.
roll the dice and do what we do, guys.
My point is, if we put it off, we're not gonna be any better off 2 weeks from now than we are right now.
this is the third meeting, we've discussed it now.
I know it, that's what I'm saying. I think we either need to make a decision right now, or, and with that, I'll make a motion that we approve item number 8, which is to go with the contract presented by Trot Communications, and let them tell us what we need to do.
Shelley, does the motion need to say where the budget amendment's coming from or no? Just budget amendment for same? We're on number 8.
No, I think they need to say where it's coming from, they're not going to cash.
So we need to know where, we need that in the motion.
Need that in the motion.
Where can they come from?
Contingency.
I would say contingency is what I would say. If that's feasible.
It's coming out of savings, whichever one you pick it from.
Right.
And what's the timeline for getting this project done?
It was supposed to be done, I believe, by next quarter, by the 26th.
They're gonna have a study done by next year?
Yes, ma'am.
30.
That was, I believe, the discussion when they were here last time, was to be ready to present that the 26th.
Right. Approve it this time and be done by the 26th. Motion's made.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Arndt. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes 4-1. Item number 9, we're going to open a public hearing here. All right, public hearing is open at 10:34. We're going to consider the rezoning request by Angel Zambrano and Letitia Zambrano for approximately 6.493 acres located at 4988 East Lone Oak Road in Valley View. So who would like to speak to this? if you would step up and identify yourself and go for it.
My name is Zanel Zambrano. I'm speaking on behalf of my parents.
Okay.
So since my time is limited, I know this has been ongoing for quite some time. So if I'm allowed to, I did type out a synopsis of pretty much everything that's led up to today. So you guys can read it instead of me having that. Is that okay?
No, it's fine.
Anything that you guys need, if you have here, attachment.
Thank you.
I also have just some zoning changes that I'd like to give you. Thanks so much. So you guys have questions or anything I put on there? I'm not sure if you like this, Mr. Smuts.
Right, yeah, I saw that. It should have been in the packet this one too. And like I said, we won't get just too thick in the weeds since due to the driveway issue.
Yes, sir.
Well, we got one more person that wants to speak, but I got legal advice from the lawyer and I misunderstood what he said. I thought the driveway was okay, but the driveway needs to be deeded over to him and not an easement to align with the subdivision regulations. So we're gonna have to push it another week or another court so they can fix that, the plat. But everything he's got on here is correct. I mean, they've been dealing with it since almost a year.
What would you like, did you need to say anything else on this, or does it stand?
I do have the plot plan, and now on the plot plan, it does mention that there's a deeded easement. I think where the confusion comes from is as far as the width for the deeded easement. So right now, it's at 15, I do believe it's at 60.
Okay, you're saying easement, but you're saying driveway.
Well, it needs to be an easement. It needs to be 6 foot.
Okay.
There currently is an easement, it's just not the width of that.
They have the easement on the drawing. It's just not wide enough. We're gonna open up a can of worms with the subdivisions all over if we allow an easement like that.
Okay.
It needs to be,
If they
that whole piece
replat
of
it,
property needs to be deeded and platted that way.
and the word easement dropped out of it, needs to be deeded, the word easement dropped.
Understood. Go to driveway or?
Nope.
Just
It's an
nothing?
easement. It's just,
Okay.
that's just the land.
Just land, okay.
It's just the text dot has rules there complicating that.
Do we need to hear more?
I think we're good there. If Gary would like to speak.
Mr. Yost, would you like to get up and?
Just briefly, yes, thank you.
Identify yourself if you would, please.
Okay, no, I need that. I know you've got it.
We got enough paperwork to keep up with.
My name is Gary Yost. I live at 4874 East Lone Oak Road. I am the property owner directly adjacent to this proposed rezoning case. Last time we were here, I voiced my opposition to this case, to this rezoning, as it is incompatible with the surrounding. I gave you opposition letters from 8 or 9 different property owners immediately adjacent. Since then, I have tried to work with the Zambranos to work out a solution that this can move forward. I've asked for 3, which I think are logical and things that would be part of the rezoning or conditions of the rezoning. The first is that utilities be underground. That a power line running down my property line next to my driveway would impact the value of my property. The second item would be that since it is a 6.4 acre tract, that this tract not be subdivided again in the future. Under the zoning regulations, you can have 2.5 acre tracts in a residential area. So I have asked for that. Those two seem to be agreeable.
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have that in writing anywhere?
That's kind of the point right now. Right now, we don't have anything in writing. So, the third item is the side offset, building offset. That land's been agriculture forever. It was originally a 25 acre tract like we talked to. In the zoning ordinance, agricultural side setback is 100 feet. For a residential, it's 50 feet. I would like to suggest that the 100-foot offset, side offset, be maintained. It's obviously maintained on the east side because they own that property. It's still agriculture. On the west side, on this new zoning, that we maintain a 100-foot side offset against the west property line. We don't have agreement on that. I really think that I need to be talking to the buyer, and we need to come to that agreement and be included in the deed restrictions or as a condition of approval from this court. The buyer, I was told Saturday, was not available, had friends in town, I understand that. Today I was told he was out of town, so my proposal is that if we could either make it a condition of approval or postpone it till I can get with the buyer and we can work something out, I would appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks.
Do you have a copy of the map or the plat of that?
What way?
Pardon?
What way you're referring to, or the?
Just the location.
I have this.
Okay.
This is my property right here.
All right. Okay.
50 foot.
I got you.
So,
Do you have a larger Elm Grove Road goes up through there at some point?
Them grows.
Way over there. Okay.
So this is Autumn Lane right here. It's got a private road there. 251 is right down here.
and it might be easier to turn it
Yeah, I see.
So, we would, this one, here's one over, here's,
Hemming Road there. Got you.
All I'm asking is that we maintain a 100-foot foot that's currently required of the Republic's land, and then we'll put, someone over.
Right.
That line out there.
We were originally approaching, suggest that 150 person consensus, 150 feet. And then it was just 50. If you want a better one, I'd like to show you a drawing.
100 foot's consistent with the existing requirement right now. That's what I'm trying to make.
The reason I'm asking is Elm Grove Road is somewhere down here now, okay.
Guys, we're doing something we probably shouldn't be doing.
Do what?
I don't think we have the authority to
Well,
put setbacks on.
my concern, this is not a big deal today. Everybody's congenial. We don't need these people standing up here at this bench. They need to be back there at the microphone and identifying themselves so that all this conversation's getting
I
captured.
asked for a map,
Yeah.
okay, and that's what we're doing right now.
But
The reason that I'm asking is because our family property is right in here too, and it's.
your family's property?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it just happens to be for sale with a lot of these same questions. So what happens here could very easily impact what happens.
To your property?
It's not mine anymore, it belongs to some cousins, but it's our original family home. And I need to know, I'm trying to decide right now whether to even continue or to recuse myself. Okay, it's what
Elm Grove Road is 4 or so miles to the west,
This
and
is
not in the P and Z.
This is kind of how it currently looks right now.
I'm sorry.
So,
Elm Grove Road is not in the P and Z.
Yeah.
We are,
that's
Well,
it
that-
right here.
we are 4.7 miles and 35, so Elm Grove Road is probably 3 miles down the road at least.
At least, yeah,
And I don't
okay.
think Elm
Based
Grove's
off the
in the P and
measurements
Z.
here, so from the fence line to the minimum 50 feet is here. We were willing, the buyer was willing to agree at 75 feet. That's where it could be pushed over.
Okay.
And again, it was originally suggested 150, and then it was 125 suggestion.
I'm just trying to reach a compromise here that 100 feet is consistent with what it is right now. So I can maintain that.
Well,
Yeah, and
my question was, how near is it to our property, which it's 3 or 4 miles away?
It's way down the road.
Okay, could what happens here, as far as lot sizes, anything like that, affect what's happening just 3 or 4 miles down the road?
That property's not even in the P and Z, so it could be one
Okay.
acre.
Okay. And that answers my question. Thank you.
And we're gonna end it now, but I'm just gonna, the reason he's asking for that is because that's the rules. If it was state ag, you had that 100-foot buffer. That's the rules. If you see that, okay, make sure.
But it's
Yeah.
rezoned residential.
Yeah, but when it's rezoned, it gets changed.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a 50. Yes, sir. We understand that.
Okay, whose maps are these here?
You can close the public hearing, Judge.
Okay, has everybody said what they need to say?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you for your.
The public hearing is now closed at 10:48. Item number 11, deliberate and consider possible action on rezoning request by Angel Zambrano and Letitia Zambrano for approximately 6.493 acres located at 4988 East Lone Oak Road. And what were you
I'm
going to do?
I'm gonna table it so they can widen the deed there.
Okay, so we're gonna push this back till the 26th. Okay.
That's all they have to do is get the easement widened.
And it won't be an easement, it's just gonna be deeding that property.
So they gotta deed it to them. You understand that?
Yeah, it's an extra 20 foot or so, well, 40 foot. And that's my fault on this time. I misunderstood what my advice was.
Okay, item number 11 to be carried over until the court on the 26th then. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for your time.
And your interest. Item number 12, deliberate and consider possible approval of the preliminary plat of Flightman 428 Estate. Commissioner Sicking.
Well, as far as I know, we got everything here ready to go. I need you to sign off on the plat. I believe other than that, I think we're able to move forward with it.
Is that a motion, Matt?
Yes, make a motion.
Second?
We have a motion, Commissioner Sicking, to approve item number 12. We have a second from Commissioner Hollowell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Item 12 passes 5-0. Item 13, deliberate and consider possible approval of the preliminary plat of Era Country Estates. Commissioner Ard.
This is on 318, it's 4 lots, they all join the road 318. I make the motion we approve the preliminary.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve item number 13. Commissioner Ard, second. Commissioner Sicking, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Item 13 passes 5-0. Item number 14, consider and possibly approve moving $13,000 to the sheriff's vehicle maintenance line and budget amendment for the same. Sheriff.
Pardon me. We had 3 units that were damaged in an incident. And we will be getting TAC insurance money. We just can't afford to wait a month and a half, 2 months to get the check and then start the work. So we'd like to go ahead and get the money, get the units fixed, and then Shelley can do whatever when she gets the insurance check.
Move to approve.
Second.
You need to say where the money's coming from.
Gonna have to take it out of contingency.
Well,
Or wherever we need to take it from, you tell me.
you can budget the money he brings in for prisoner boarding.
Yeah, in hindsight, that's, because we're gonna put it back anyway. Right, so it needs to come from inmate
Boarding.
boarding. Okay, I'd revise the
Right.
motion to approve the, transfer the money from inmate boarding to the maintenance line.
To his vehicle maintenance.
And I still second that.
Okay, so the motion is to approve item number 14 to be paid for from the inmate housing fund. And the money be placed in the sheriff's vehicle maintenance line. The motion has been made, seconded by Commissioner Snuggs. Did I say it? Commissioner Hollowell?
Yeah, we're good.
Motion?
Yep.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 15 is consider and possibly approve moving money into the K-9 budget for training for the new officer and budget amendment for the same.
Can we not do that on the same line item?
Yes.
Make a motion on the same basis?
Do you have a contract? I mean, when you train them like this, do they have to stay with the department for so long?
Pardon me. That officer, we had to get a new K-9 handler, and so he already worked for the department and has been with us for some time, but he was not a K-9, so we had to send him to K-9 school training and then go and get the dog recertified with him. So kind of unexpected occurrence that happened, but anyway.
I was just curious. I know I've seen before where they get trained like that and then they take off.
Well, historically, that's kind of a problem for us, looking backwards. So we tend to train our officers up, and they go on and transfer off or move to different departments for bigger money. So
but they don't get to take the dog,
right?
so,
No, I thought whenever they was trained with that dog,
they don't get to take the dog.
No. And so that's why the dog, it was actually, I believe about a 6-week, 8-week training course over in Louisiana. And the dog and the officer attended, so. And the same thing would happen if, if he left and we had to come up with another officer, it would have to happen again. But this officer lives in the county, in fact, lives over in Munster. I don't see him going anywhere.
And
Yeah,
the dog's a
it's
huge asset as far as your drug use,
right.
drug enforcement, yeah.
And I believe the officer even stayed over on weekends, he didn't have to come back.
Right.
few
So,
of them.
and this money is, actually, this money that we're moving is to get him paid for his per diem, so. The auditor, she knows far more than I do about numbers, so she says that's, K-9 is a different department. Even she and I were exchanging some emails. I said, well, he wears the same uniform around the same marked units. And, well, that's not what she's saying. It's a separate department, so I can't move money from other departments, areas to into that. So it's not a great amount of money, about $600, is that?
400 or 600, yeah, it's a
So-
small amount.
So how do you train a K-9 officer?
You got me. But they did a bang-up job, because they've already came back, and that dog was already alerted, and we've made quite a few arrests just in a couple of weeks he's been back. So,
And it's specialized training, that's the reason you have to send them off to get them certified, because you can't train them within the department.
Oh, no. All right, I'll second that motion, by the way. Who made that original motion?
Gary did.
I thought I made it and Jason
Okay.
seconded it.
I did second it.
You did second? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. All right, motion was made, Commissioner Hollowell, second, Commissioner Snuggs. All in favor on item number 15? Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Motion passes 5-0.
I would say to y'all that, just an update, that the awning for over the picnic tables has been completed, looks fantastic. Inmates have
good.
been doing some painting on our trim. Rick's aware that building, we're sprucing up on outside all the outer doors, all the trim around the windows. And, you all know, it's pouring rain, but on a pretty day, come out and check it out.
Okay, General.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Major.
Okay, item number 16. Deliberate and consider possible action regarding broadband services. Jason Snuggs.
Haven't done much with this. Mainly we're waiting on see what the broadband grants were gonna be, and we can't get any of that, so I've been kind of waiting until we get through budgeting to see where we're at, and see where you can have any money to put towards it. So,
Should we bring it back next time? Or
what do you think, Shelley?
farther on?
Yeah,
Keep
I
it
mean,
in
I
front
think
of us.
it's a standard item on the agenda.
Okay.
I would think would hope that they would just put out like a round 2.
Yeah. Let's keep it in front of us, that way people don't think we're just.
Round 2 of financing or funding.
We have a lot of.
Yeah, release some more money for grants.
And we didn't, our COVID money was gone, which is what we originally talked about using this for. Grants are not available, so just kind of waiting to see where we're at.
Okay. Okay.
Board with us?
We'll keep this one on the agenda and bring it back in a couple of weeks. Item number 16. Item number 17. Deliberate and consider possible action regarding Cooke County EMS and fire pager system. Commissioner Arndt.
I think we take no action until we find out something from Trot.
From Trot, okay. I started to say, it looks like they're pretty close together.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta know before we can do anything with this.
Okay, item number 17, we'll bring back in well, a couple of weeks when we should find out something from Rock Communications. Item 17 will be brought back. Item number 18, deliberate and consider possible landfills in Cooke County. Commissioner Sicking.
We made contact with Allison Bass, and they're just now getting started to work on the paperwork, so I guess we'll, as soon as they get something figured out, they'll holler at us.
Okay. We'll bring back item number 18 next court. Item number 19, deliberate and consider possible action regarding Main Street parking lot. Commissioner Sicking.
They're setting rebar up and stuff now. They're planning, which rain probably gonna mess it up, but they're planning on pouring at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, and I've reached out to Scott Gibson a couple times about the conduit, and have not heard back from him. They dug them up this morning, exposed the ends. Should I just take some pictures and send them to him? I mean, I don't know what else to do. They're there, I mean, so.
What was the additional 14 days of work?
Well, you need to approve the change order.
I'm sorry?
You need to approve the change order.
Yes, we have a change order we discussed last meeting. So I guess we need to approve that. And I'll make a motion for that, to put the conduit in. And I asked him about the 14 days, and anyway, he said they had to, their, line stabilization is gonna put
It
down.
didn't have anything to do with the conduit. I was reading that together.
I'm sorry?
It didn't have anything to do with the conduit adding 14 days.
Well, it kinda did.
Okay.
Because they had to wait on us to approve it, so they waited on the line stabilization, so they had to reschedule that, so anyway, they asked for,
Well, I second that motion.
so.
Okay, would you like to restate that motion, please?
Just to approve the change order of $1,650 to come out of the contingency money to put in the
Conduits.
PVC sleeves for lighting for future use.
Okay, is everybody clear with that?
And that's not an increase in the contract. People need to understand,
Right.
they're not running
Right.
over. It's coming out of his contingency money.
Right, right.
And y'all discussed it last court, this is the actual paperwork.
All right, motion is made by Commissioner Sicking. Who seconded that?
I did.
Okay. Commissioner Snug, second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Item number 19 passed 5-0. Item number 20, deliberate and consider possible action regarding real property on Highway 82. Commissioner Hollowell.
I don't have a clue.
Is that a motion?
Is that a quote for the paper?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't.
Oh.
Okay, Commissioner
No.
Hollowell doesn't have a clue. Is that the way you
Yeah,
want
yeah,
that to read?
you'll very seldom
You
hear
might
me
want
say
to
I'm
say-
speechless, Judge, I'm
We're
speechless.
still working on it.
You might want to change that, just to change it up just a little bit.
Still working on
Sounds a little
it, still working on it.
Okay. All right, so Commissioner Hollowell recommends no action on item 20. Item number 21, deliberate and consider possible approval of repairing the monopole tower lighting issues.
I think we've done that. We could take that off, can't we?
Well,
We got Ed sent that revision on there. Give us 3 different choices to decide on.
do what now?
I think it's going to be an executive, isn't it?
Do I?
I think we're gonna talk about an executive, we probably ought to table this and come back to it,
I think so.
maybe.
Let's table item number 21. And,
Either that or you can, well, I'm sorry.
We'll discuss that later in the agenda. So item number 21 is tabled for now. Item number 22, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the Crest Building. Does anybody want to speak? to
Still
that?
waiting on a few parts for the elevator, but it's in
Yeah.
progress, and as soon as that's done, we'll be proceeding for sale.
All right. Item number 22, we'll bring back in 2 weeks. Item number 23 is deliberate and consider possible action on the library facilities project.
That's good. Well, maybe.
The project is coming along very nicely. We have the carpet in. They ordered the carpet and got the wrong color in, so they had to reorder that. They have replaced most of the carpet in the meeting room, and they're kind of working on it in the evenings and at night. And as soon as they finish it, then she'll be able to move her classes and so forth that she needs the meeting room for. That's kind of the main purpose. And then the plan is to start in the back corner where the children's section is and just replace sections of that carpet at a time, barricade it off, and do sections of it at a time. And we'll be able to go through the whole project, whole thing, and not close the library to the public. And it's working out pretty good. The tile has been completed in both foyer areas, front of the bathrooms and so forth. And now they're working on removing the tile from the outside of the building. They have all that off of there, and their scratch coat, I think they call it. They're waiting for, they had to order the finish coat to match the color that we picked. We had to pick the color for it to be. And it may be in now, of course it's raining now, they can't do it. But as soon as that comes in, they'll be finishing that up. And we'll be through. One thing we didn't discuss, and I'm trying to get quotes on it, is the lettering that was on the library was put there in 1962, and it needs to be replaced. So I've got a company that's trying to get me a quote on what it would cost to just put new lettering on the front of the library. Shouldn't be a whole lot of money, but I don't have that dollar amount right now.
Would that come out of your budget?
Everything so far is coming out of my budget.
Okay,
With the budget amendment.
right.
Yeah. So,
Are we still within what we budgeted for the library improvement?
yes, so far. It'll go up a little bit if we do lettering, you know. Depends on what that dollar amount is. I don't know. Just coming along pretty good.
Okay, any action we need to take at this time?
I don't have anything.
All right. Thank you, Rick, appreciate it. Item number 23 is no action, and bring it back next court. Item number 24, deliberate and consider possible action regarding proposed weigh station. And there is no action there. I'm not sure.
I've been talking with a little bit about different stuff. We probably ought to have a little workshop as we get a little closer.
Okay.
Kind of discuss some of this with some of the entities that are going to be involved with that. It's going to be the JPs, and we're going to have a workshop, DPS, and really see what we're getting into. See if it's what it's going to be our cost.
Do we have drawings of that or anything?
Yes, we do. But there's a lot of stuff on the backside that I'm doing a little more research on. It's going to be a cost too, you know, as you're prosecuting these tickets, and it's going to bring increase into the JP offices. So we need to kind of be aware of that, and we just want to make everybody aware of that. I'd like to do it in maybe a workshop where we can get everybody together.
Once and for all, just throw it out there. Where is this proposed weigh station located?
The old rest area next to Peak out on 35. Spring Creek Road.
I've had people think that it was up near the state line, that near the Welcome Center. I've had people say it's on the northbound. I've had
southbound. So the one that's south of 82, so that 82 traffic is coming from east and west that they can catch, you know, get all the trucks that they can get through there for the safety check.
Okay. And there's some question about a well and water and that sort of thing. Is that still the kinds of things that you're asking about?
The one, yes, but one of the deals that they do down at the other deals is they just have water brought in a tank system and a sewage system like they do in the oil fields. I mean, that's how they do those. Not to say that we can't do that, but I don't know if that's on our part or their part.
Okay, and the use of the water is used for what, I mean, why is it even consideration, I guess, restroom, and what else?
Restroom and drinking.
And drinking, and, okay.
They'd have to have that separate. That's the way they do the other stations. It's just a portable type system. They haul water in, haul water out.
Okay. But at this time, there's no action. Item number 24 is no action, bring it back. Item number 25, deliberate and consider possible action regarding various grant funds. Ms. Auditor?
No, nothing new on FEMA, and I am currently working on getting all of the roads audited and all the paperwork together before I send them in.
You good on mine?
I haven't had a chance to
Okay. I'll be hearing from you then.
re-look at them again.
But you're working on CTIP.
Yes.
How much of that done?
Yeah. Three and one are good. I've got corrections from 4 and 2, so.
On that bull chase stuff, that's a grant, isn't it?
No, that comes from
It's
TAC.
a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Guys, I left $10 out there for
Is it
one of you.
back? Did I miss the email?
Yes,
Oh,
you missed the email.
Skip it, I've ordered yours,
Like
don't worry
2
about it.
weeks ago.
No,
What?
It's just a grant we get every year.
It's
where we
not a
can buy
grant.
some-
Yeah,
Well,
it's-
we get some money each year where we can buy some safety type stuff from this website. It's pretty neat.
Did-
Buy gloves and.
That, both of y'all, you were here last year?
It's $549,
TAC gives
right?
money to buy safety equipment.
Traffic cones and stuff. It's pretty neat.
When did
Gloves.
that start?
Long time
Safety vests.
10 years
Safety
ago?
vests.
Been here since I've been here.
Yeah,
I buy stuff that I don't want to spend my money on.
And the sheriff gets some too.
yeah. Cones, gloves, stuff like that.
Barricades.
I think it's $540-something per precinct. What, that sound right? Anyway, I left $10 out there for one of you
You
guys.
did email me on the first of the month.
And there's one user ID and one password, so don't change it, because all 4 of you use the same.
And don't overspend.
Yeah, don't overspend, and it's, like I said, I think it's $500-something, and I stayed $10 under, y'all can split it, I
Can
don't,
I use his?
yeah. Early bird gets a worm, whoever. Okay,
But it's not a grant, it comes from
yeah,
TAC.
okay.
Well, all right then, item number 25 is no action, bring it back. Item number 26 will be executive session in compliance with Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551, Government Code, Vernon's, Texas codes. Will be consulting with attorney, deliberating real property and regarding contract and personnel matters. And Shelley, did you want to stay or? Bathroom break. We'll reconvene to regular session. Are you back online? Okay. At 11:54. Which brings us to item number 27, which is deliberate and consider possible action regarding consultation with attorney, real property, contract being negotiated, or personnel matters.
Really, we need to go back to item number 21,
Oh, that's right. We forgot about
which
that.
will take care of 27.
We don't have a disposition on it yet. We'll get the contract, right?
Let's go ahead.
Okay, well,
We took no action.
Why
Or,
don't we go back?
no, we tabled 21 to come back after executive session.
okay. So,
Why don't we go ahead and do 27, and then we'll come back to, or do 21. All right, item 27, while it's fresh on our minds, do I hear a motion?
You need to
Or,
What is
read
it?
out what it is.
It's to pick the part of the contract we want to put in there, which relates to 21 too. however
Which
y'all
is
want to do
item number 3. Remember, which is to,
it. We're going to pick the third option that the legal counsel gave us for the contract.
right, which
You wanna put it-
was,
Let me pull it up.
I thought he was gonna tweak it a little bit and send it back to us.
I thought he was too.
He told us to give it, he was going to just check it for spelling error.
Okay.
Oh, I thought he was gonna.
Otherwise, we had to sit on it for 2 more weeks. I need to. I probably want to close it out.
go ahead.
The county allows users of the use of the county structure for communication with its departments during all its government operations.
And they pay a pro,
The county will not interfere with the use of the structure without first receiving authorization from the designated representative of the user unless, in the opinion of the county, such action is necessary to eliminate harmful interference with the structure's overall operations. 4.3, if there is more than one user of the structure, then each user will have a proportional responsibility for the operation, maintenance, and control of the structure that the equipment is installed upon, including but not limited to maintaining the certification for the structure used by the federal and state agencies. Option number 3.
I'll make a motion. Go with number 3 as presented.
Second.
we have a motion, Commissioner Sicking, second, Commissioner Snuggs, on option number 3.
on what?
The monopole.
Contract?
Monopole.
Contract?
Yes.
Never heard that.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Pretty good at
Aye.
skirting around everything, aren't we?
Are you and I? You made the motion, so I assume you are.
Yes.
5-0, or 5-0 on the monopole issue and item number 27 after executive session.
Okay, so we skipped 21.
Now we're going to go back to 21.
That was 21.
That's what I was saying to start with. Y'all kept going back to 27.
That
I
was
shut up.
So let's
21.
move that up to 21 and just say no action.
All right, okay.
Say what?
That was item number 21, and we'll take no action on item number 27.
We don't have
Right.
a 27.
Do what now?
I don't have a 27.
Go.
No.
Deliberate and consider possible action regarding, that's our,
There's no tab because I didn't have anything.
Oh.
yeah.
I didn't have an agenda request. I wasn't really sure about that.
You gotta stay here, you don't have a 28 either.
Just, just vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have.
Okay, item number 27 is no action. That brings us to item number 28, mercifully.
What did you hear?
Matt, don't you have a motion to make concerning, was that just on the
That was
monopole?
on 21.
That was the only one?
The- for
You
the
and Ed was
monopole.
having some discussion about you making a motion or something. That was on 21?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Here, don't run off, Gary, get things signed. I'll make
motion, we're on 28, I'll make that motion.
Second.
See, you
Okay,
gotta stay here, you don't have
Commissioner
28, you don't get a adjourn.
Moves that we adjourn, second. Commissioner Arndt, all in favor? Aye.
At what time, because I don't have my watch or my watch.
It's at 11:59.
Made it my lunch.